In February 2007, William Richard accompanied his girlfriend, Natalie Davis, to a hotel in Houston, Texas, where she had arranged to meet with a man named Carl Edward Ryan for escort service. Carl was a schizophrenic who had a history of assaulting people with knives. He stabbed 2 previous victims, but was not prosecuted due to insanity. Carl was dropped off at the hotel by his mother, who admitted to detectives a woman called her earlier that day, telling her Carl was making deadly threats to her. The meeting turned violent when Ryan suddenly attacked Natalie, stabbing her multiple times, barely escaping with her life. Natalie ran to William's car and begged for help, explaining that her phone was still in the hotel room. Acting out of necessity, William armed himself and returned to retrieve the phone. When he entered the room, Ryan charged at him wielding a hatchet, prompting William to shoot in self-defense. Detectives later confirmed that the evidence at the scene supported William's account, and witnesses corroborated Natalie's version of events. Investigators also praised William as a hero for possibly eliminating a serial killer who has been plaguing the community, slaying women on the streets. The killer was dubbed as the Back Page Killer. After cooperating fully with investigators, William was no-billed by a Harris County grand jury, confirming that the shooting was a lawful act of self-defense. 2 years later, in 2009, while facing an unrelated charge, William was unexpectedly indicted for murder by prosecutor Connie Spence, despite the prior grand jury's decision. Spence proceeded without new evidence or witnesses contradicting the original findings. During trial, William's defense attorney failed to present key exculpatory evidence, including the polygraph test William passed and the detective's testimony affirming self-defense. Critical evidence confirming the case aligned with William's self-defense claim were never shown to the jury, who never knew that William was already justified in self-defense 2 years prior. William was convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Years later, William discovered through a Freedom of Information Act request that prosecutor Spence had sought FBI analytical assistance and that the resulting report supported his innocence. This evidence was illegally suppressed at trial. In 2019, a private investigator confirmed that even officials within the district attorney's office questioned why William's case had been retried. Despite these findings, William Richard remains incarcerated, having served 17 years in TDCJ as of November 2025. In 2019, new evidence emerged through audio recordings obtained by 2 private investigators. Investigator William Ferguson was recorded in a phone conversation explaining what transpired during a meeting with Harris County District Attorney Brian Rose, who admitted he didn't understand why the case had been retried, stating it wasn't worthy of a second round with the grand jury, and that William was already justified.
His exact words were he didn't understand why it came back up to be put before the grand jury again. So it was worthy of going for a second run at the grand jury. They felt like it wasn't worthy. So basically you felt that I was justified. Right.
A second investigator, John Gabriel, spoke with Lance Long, the original district attorney who sent the case to the grand jury in 2007, resulting in the no-bill and exoneration. Long, now a Harris County judge, denied involvement in the 2009 retrial and appeared eager to distance himself from the case, raising concerns that he may have been attempting to protect colleagues from allegations of prosecutorial misconduct. Despite this mounting evidence, including witness corroboration, FBI not finding new evidence in William's case, and now these recordings, William Richard remains imprisoned, a man cleared once for self-defense, but wrongfully convicted years later by the very justice system that had already exonerated him.
In the legal industry for the last 30 years, you don't want to use the word no, and you don't want to use the word yes. If I say I don't recall, you can't tell me I'm lying. But if I say no, then that's why they both use the same phrase. No memory. No memory. No memory. But that's not by accident. I hate to tell you, but it's not by accident. I'm more than sure they spoke to each other. I'm more than sure.
But and you can't your grand jury no bill still doesn't work right?
Wait, say that last part?
When you were talking about the grand jury no bill, you were telling me how that is honored.
Yeah, because I asked him in an email about they stayed away from answering the word justified. So basically what happens is, when a person, and you know this, when a person goes, not you, but when a case goes before the grand jury, either it comes back a true bill or a non-true bill. That's the only thing. So basically what happened in your case, the DA's office did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That's why the grand jury came back with a no true bill. You thought it was wrong.
Yeah, also, we go to the grand jury now. We follow the process. It goes to the grand jury, and we leave it up to them to decide. And that grand jury decides.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
But so we know what I'm saying. You know what we're going to let it get them. We're going to let it get there for 2.5 years. That ain't how it's going to work.
But I'm saying that's what they did.
But that's not how it's going to work, though. So that's why I'm just trying to get you to verify.
Because you see, what I want you to understand is, it's hard for us to.
How many times have you asked me?
No, he told me. He put it in the email. That was wrong.
How many times has he told you? What if he even told you about the information? It's just like what you said. There's no way to even know what was going on or what was just said in that grand jury.
Well, he would have known if the assistant DA that went before the grand jury told him.
Right. So, do you feel, like you said yesterday, that initially I was exonerated?
Well, yeah. What happened was when the grand jury came back, no true bill, that ended that phase completely. But you're mad at the initial charge against you was over and done with. Yeah, go ahead.
In 2007, and it went to the grand jury with no bill. Do you feel like I was exonerated at the time?
Well, you were caught. Exoneration is basically a no true bill. The legal term is a no true bill, and that's what the jury returned in regards to your first charge.
So at that time, did you feel like the investigation is over with?
Well, typically the investigation is over with, yes.
Okay. So after looking at my case, did you see anything in there? Did you see anything in there that would come to new information?
Well, it wouldn't.
Did you think for a while you can't see anything that will constitute new evidence?
Well, it wouldn't constitute new information because it's already in the court records. New information entails something that is not in your court filing.
Okay, so if new information was not presented, did you feel like I was wrong to begin it? It was wrong to begin it?
If the new information was not presented to who? To your attorney?
To the court, to my attorney, but I'm here for the same thing I was exonerated for. No new information was presented. Did you feel like I was wrong to begin it? Completely, if I was liable?
Well, I can't say you were wrongfully convicted because I did not have a point in the actual proceeding, but I've never seen a case in 30 years where a person goes before a grand jury, or a case goes before a grand jury for the second time, and the defense has no idea what is being presented to the grand jury. I've never seen that before.
Then, in 2025, defense attorney Angelica Coliano was hired to review the case and provided an audio-recorded professional opinion concluding that Williams' trial attorney Ron Johnson had failed to provide effective representation. She confirmed that neither Johnson nor prosecutor Spence presented the 2007 no bill or other exculpatory evidence during trial, despite there being no new facts to justify a murder retrial. Together, these findings paint a deeply troubling picture of corruption, negligence, and injustice surrounding a man once cleared in self-defense for defending his own life, a case demanding urgent re-examination.
Okay, so the best argument would be that the lawyer didn't...
Right? It's because he should have done his job at trial.
But his I guess his exculpatory defense, he didn't properly defend him with that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but like, had he done that, he would not be in there today. This is what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what the argument to habeas is, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what the argument to habeas is that a reasonable jury, that there's enough of a possibility that a reasonable jury would have made a different decision if they would have been heard or not heard evidence that they weren't supposed to hear, and heard evidence that they should have heard, right? If his attorney did his job, then a reasonable jury likely would have not found that there was proof beyond a reasonable doubt, right?
Right.
So that's an ineffective assistance of counsel claim.
The first polygraph, which made it like, well, now they got to present the second one.
Right, the first polygraph never should have been offered into evidence. So that was the first mistake. Then once it came into evidence, his attorney should have told the jury about the second one where he passed it. Still, I think it's worse than no polygraph being offered at all, right? But if that polygraph wasn't going to come in, which it never should, but once it was in, he should have...
William is currently looking to bring his case to the media so that he can get a lawyer to appeal his case. Please like and share this video to bring awareness. If you are from the media or a lawyer, please email jfwilliamrichard@gmail.com. Follow the info in the description.